This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
It is the After Party live, a status post Mark Thompson show. Whew, there was some bumps and bruises along the way there. Had a guest that I thought wasn't going to show up, but managed to somehow pull it off, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. I always hear from Mark Thompson later in the day, so we'll see how he thought it went. But thank you for hanging with me on the Mark Thompson show and here on the After Party as well. The song you're hearing play behind me is called Just Breathing, and that's kind of what I feel lucky to be doing right now. So here it is. Oh, look at this. Phineas helping people along the way. Nullifidian, hello. Hey everybody. Yeah, thanks for coming in. And thank you, I should say, and I kind of mentioned it at the end of the Mark Thompson show, but I do want to point out that I'm very grateful for everyone who contributes to the Mark Thompson show at themarkthompsonshow.com and the show as well. The PayPal information is in the show description every day and in the About tab here on YouTube. So thank you. And thank you for being here. I just appreciate it very much. A lot of stories today. It is Travel Tuesday, so we'll take a little trip. We're going to Plymouth, Massachusetts. I was reading a story about how cool it is to be in what's called America's hometown on the 4th of July and fireworks near Plymouth Rock. And I thought that sounded cool. So I started doing a little digging, and there's some cool stuff going on in Plymouth, Massachusetts. So a little later in the show, we'll take a look. We'll dig in deeper and see what that's all about. But first, oh, this is kind of icky looking, I should say. What is it? It's an asteroid. It's a lumpy bowling pin shaped asteroid. That's what we've got. Calvin Wong, the shadow producer of this show, the Nikki Maduro show, and the Mark Thompson show, sends in this story about NASA's Lucy spacecraft beaming back pictures of this asteroid that is indeed shaped like a lumpy bowling pin. This is the latest asteroid flyby, and they are calling this space rock a little oddly shaped. The space agency, NASA, releasing these images yesterday after a very close approach to this asteroid. They are calling it a dress rehearsal for more critical asteroid encounters that are closer to Jupiter. And so those are in the works. That's the plan. This asteroid, though, is a little bit bigger than the scientists were thinking it was. It's about 5 miles long and 2 miles wide at its widest point there. It does kind of resemble a disfigured bowling pin, maybe, but it was so long that the spacecraft couldn't capture it in its entirety in the first downloaded images. So the scientists are thinking the data that is turned in over the next week will help clarify this asteroid's true shape. The spacecraft, Lucy, passed within 600 miles of this asteroid, considered harmless, known as, the name of the asteroid is Donald Johnson. That's his name. Donald Johnson. This is the main asteroid belt where Donald Johnson is located between Mars and Jupiter. It's named for Donald Johnson, the paleontologist who discovered the fossil Lucy 50 years ago in Ethiopia. This spacecraft, Lucy, I have to show you what the spacecraft looks like because it's kind of cool looking. This spacecraft was launched in 2021. The whole point to study the unexplored Trojan asteroids near Jupiter. 8 Trojan flybys are planned through 2033. So we should get to see more pictures of weird looking asteroids like Donald Johnson. There he is in all his glory. Here's an interesting, I think this story is really interesting. This is the USS Yorktown. And by the way, thank you so much to Calvin Wong for that Donald Johnson asteroid story. This is the USS Yorktown as it looked in 1942, docked at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. And it was found, the wreckage, in the sea It was sunk torpedoed by a Japanese submarine during the Battle of Midway in June of 1942. And on Saturday, NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, Ocean Exploration sent a remotely operated camera inside of the shipwreck off of Hawaii at a marine national monument in the northwestern Hawaiian Islands, about 1,300 miles west of Honolulu. And what they found inside of the USS Yorktown included a car. Not a brand new car, but a car. Yeah, it was carrying a car. That is inside of the wreckage. The researchers are heard saying on the live stream, "It's a car. That's a car. That's a full car." Yes, it is. The USS Yorktown was known as the Fighting Lady. This was an 806-foot long aircraft carrier. It could carry 2,000 sailors. Commissioned in 1937, played a really big role in the Pacific Campaign for the United States and World War II before it was sunk in 1942. The wreckage of the Yorktown was located about 25 years ago, and it's been well documented since its discovery, but apparently we didn't know everything there is to know about what's down there. At the first glance, the vehicle looks like it's a military Jeep. It's resting upright. It has some flared fenders, some chrome trim, a rag top, a spare tire on the back door you can see there as well. Researchers call it just amazing. The National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration say they think that this is actually a 1940 or 41 Ford Super Deluxe Woody in the back. That's what they think it is. The salvage crew worked tirelessly to jettison anti-aircraft guns and aircraft to reduce its list after the torpedo strike, but they did leave that car on board, something maybe they could have rolled off the side. So they were confused, the researchers, as to why the car was aboard. There are several theories. One, that maybe it was the Rear Admiral's car and served as maybe his flagship car during World War II. Another is maybe it was brought aboard for repairs. Then maybe that's why it was there. Yeah. The USS Yorktown, again, sunk during the Battle of Midway. The majority of people that died, casualties in the Battle of Midway, were Japanese service members. But 362 U.S. troops were among the war dead as well. In all, 3,400 people were killed in the Battle of Midway. Japan lost 4 aircraft carriers, 1 cruiser, hundreds of aircraft. The United States lost 1 aircraft carrier, 1 destroyer, and 144 airplanes during that battle. And now we see the wreckage at the bottom of the sea. Fascinating. This story is a little bit creepy and disturbing. Apparently, academics at Oxford had a ritual of drinking from a cup made from a human skull. They'd been doing this for decades. A chalice made from a human skull. The academics at and I'll probably say it wrong, Worcester College at Oxford. Yeah. The thinking is that this skull made into a cup to drink from highlights a violent colonial history, one of looted human remains. They're trying to figure out really what to do with it now. There's a new book that explores this situation with human remains, the effort now to give remains back or take remains back to the countries from which they were taken. This skull cup was fashioned from a sawn-off, polished brain case, the top of the skull, adorned with a silver rim, put on a stand, like a cup holder, right? and it was apparently regularly used at formal dinners at Worcester College, Oxford until 2015. This, according to Professor Dan Hicks, who's the curator of world archaeology at the Pitt Rivers Museum. The Pitt Rivers family, responsible for donating this skull cup to the school. The book is called Every Monument Will Fall. And it traces what they call the shameful history of this skull. The cup was used to serve chocolates after it began to leak wine. Apparently, skulls aren't good in the long haul for drinking out of. The archaeologist says there's some concern among fellows and guests that put an end to the ritual. In 2019, the college invited this archaeologist, Hicks, to investigate the origins of this skull and how it became what he calls some sick variety of tableware. The thought was that this was the skull of a Caribbean woman who was a slave. But Hicks didn't find any record of this person whose remains the skull cup was made from. They say carbon dating shows the skull is about 225 years old, and its size and other evidence suggests that it came from the Caribbean, that maybe it was belonging to an enslaved woman. The owners of the skull in the UK were well documented. It was donated to the college in 1946 by a former student, George Pitt Rivers, whose name is actually inscribed on the silver rim. He wasn't the nicest fellow. He was a eugenicist. He was interned by the British government during World War II because he showed support for a fascist leader. The cup was part of a private second collection from his grandfather, who founded this Pitt Rivers Museum in the late 1800s. Super creepy that they drank out of this skull for so many years. What do you do if someone hands you a skull to drink out of? No thanks. Just keep passing it around the group. I guess you'd be expected to drink from it? Super gross. In the 20th century, according to a college spokesperson, this skull cup was sometimes on display with the college's silver collection and used as tableware. They don't say how often this was the case, but they say it was very limited after 2011 and that the skull cup was completely removed 10 years ago. So the school took some scientific advice, some legal advice. They decided it should be stored in their archive in a respectful manner, where access to it is permanently denied. So they've locked it away basically in a vault. Apparently, they tried to find out where it was from to maybe return the skull to its origins, couldn't do that. So the next best thing is to just lock it away and not have it on display anymore. But it goes to this whole effort about skulls, body parts, cadavers, what have you, looted from colonial battlefields by people in the Victorian era that were even displayed in homes or donated to museums. One involves someone who dug up the skull of a Zulu commander a couple years after this man was killed by the British Army in the 1870s. There's an effort underway to give back cultural items, especially when it includes the remains of people. And so that's what this college, Worcester College in Oxford, has been caught up in. It doesn't help that they were drinking from it and using it in a school ritual? I don't know. To something a little more lighthearted. This is a jacket, but the fabric never really touches your skin. So I saw this jacket originally and I thought, well, if you're hot, why would you wear a jacket, right? The jacket is full of fans. And the fans blow the fabric and are meant to cool down the wearer of this jacket. So you put the jacket on, fire up the fans, and it puffs up to the point where you kind of feel like unencumbered, like you're naked, because there's no fabric resting against your skin, just the cool air cooling you down. This jacket built with built-in electric fans, designed by a Japanese fashion brand called Enrealage, apparently meant to keep their staff cool. The jacket is one of 5 items that they've developed, designed to be around the theme of travel. The clothes connect the dots, maybe that's why they have dots all over them, and expand human potential by sharing senses. So, rather than material objects, people are clothed in immaterial sensation like wind. The designer says, through clothing, I created an experience of traveling through time and space and connecting with distant beings. Okay. The standout item in this collection is the jacket, which incorporates a pair of electric fans that blow air between the body and the clothing to cool the wearer during the hot weather. The internal airflow causes this garment to kind of billow up. And see it here too. So it gets all puffy and billowy and cloud-like, and it represents the way technology connects people and transcends boundaries. This jacket was developed with air-conditioned workwear manufacturer Kochofuku. The company was founded by a former Sony engineer, and it creates fan-cooled clothing as an alternative to air conditioning for entire buildings. That maybe personal air conditioning is more beneficial than cooling off an entire building for everyone. The technology is battery operated. It circulates air around the upper body using vaporization from your sweat to cool you off before it releases that through the air, through the collar and the cuffs. I I don't know. Apparently, it's supposed to fit any gender, any body shape. Everybody is able to wear the puffy, cooling air jacket. I don't know. The jacket is constructed using breathable, fast-drying fabric, which you would need. There's even a bucket hat that you can see here, a slingback bucket hat, all in the blue dot pattern. Interesting. They made 300 of these, so who knows? Maybe they'll become collector's items. I can kind of go for the idea, in theory, of a jacket blowing air at your skin so the fabric doesn't touch your delicate skin and you feel like, you don't really have any clothes on at all, perhaps. But then you look at it and she looks like kind of a big puffball. I don't know. I'm going to go to the chat, see what you guys have to say. Hi. Such odd looking garment, says Judy. Yeah, I like the pattern, but not the fans. Karen says it looks ridiculous. One thing, it looks ridiculous. Mo says the jacket might be a bit drafty. Maybe it'd tickle. That could be fun. Yvonne says, puffy shirt, Kim, always has such interesting, diverse stories. Yeah, well, we try. Let me tell you, it's difficult to find a story that doesn't involve the current leadership. Not a fan of the puffy look, says Tammy. Well, in case when this summer, when we have, at least here in the Bay Area, those couple of days, maybe a week where the temperature gets to 102, 103, the possibility exists that I'll be thinking about this puffy jacket. I don't know. All right. Are we ready to move to it? It is, what is the cost? You can't buy it, so they don't tell you what the cost is. They made 300 of them. They're being used by people at a pavilion in Japan to keep them cool. Perhaps if it goes well and these prototypes are successful, they'll make it and you can buy it. But at this point, there's no cost. listed. Nope. If you sit down, what do you do with all that fabric getting in your way? I guess you keep the fans on, and so it keeps puffed up. You have to sit forward. Let us move now to the lotto of the day. And this is all due to an accident, a mistaken ticket. We're going to Michigan for this one, where this guy won $1 million because of a mistake made by the cashier. He said this scratch-off lottery ticket that he never asked for turned out to be a $1 million winner. This guy's 45 years old. He told the Michigan Lottery that he asked for a specific scratch-off ticket at the Speedway gas station on Kalamazoo Street in Paw Paw. But the clerk handed him a major cash word ticket instead. Not the kind he wanted. He said, I do play the cash words occasionally, but purchasing this ticket, it was a total fluke. I asked the cashier for a different game. She mistakenly handed me this major cash word ticket instead. When she realized that she gave me the wrong ticket, she offered to give me the game that I had asked for, but I told her I'd just keep the major cash word ticket instead. And that proved to be a very fortuitous decision, because the next morning, the guy gets up and he finally scratches off the barcode. He had his wife scan the ticket on her lottery app. He said when $1 million came up on the screen, he felt like he couldn't breathe. He said he felt like it was some kind of prank. And then he had to figure out, how am I going to keep this $1 million ticket safe? Once he said, I realized it was real, I put the ticket in a jar and I buried it in the yard because I was so paranoid that something would happen to it if I kept it in the house. Ticket is out of the jar. Money has been procured. He said his prize money will go toward paying off his house, paying his bills, and saving for retirement. So, nice. $1 million mistake. Here's the story about skiing, and I have some video. I had never heard of this before. The possibility exists that you had, and you may be more up on ski culture than I. But there is a tradition where at the end of the ski season, the very last run at some of the larger resorts, it is customary to ski down the slope and right into a waiting pool of water. Ski and splash, the slush cup, they call it. Here's what it looks like at Banff, the ski area at Banff. This is what they've got going on now. You can see people coming down the ski slopes, getting a little air, and boom, right into the water. I think that the effort, and I'll turn off the sound, I think the effort is you may be not only trying to splash in, but perhaps ski toward the end of the waterway. A lot of people not successful in doing this. But it kind of looks fun. Yeah, the skiing ends with a splash, and this happens not only at Banff, but at other ski resorts as well. It's called pond skimming, and it's been going on for more than 100 years. This is how many skiers say goodbye to the winter season. They speed down the slopes and then water ski over these massive puddles that are created down at the end. A lot of wipeouts we're seeing. A lot of people dumping into the water. It's called the annual pond skim. They have it at all different kinds of resorts, from Maine to Canada to Colorado. On the season's closing days, the skiers and the riders take their turns speeding down the slopes, bending their knees, and then water skiing over a lake, a pond, or a massive puddle, trying to absorb the shock on the other side. If they make it across the puddle and they're dry, the crowd goes wild. Doesn't happen very often. If they face plant and sink, the crowd goes wild. So it doesn't really matter. A lot of people dress in tropical wear for this event, a lot of Hawaiian shirts and shorts. The slush cup that you're watching is at Sunshine Village in Banff, which is where this tradition began, which is why they do it upright. They even have synchronized swimmers at one point in the pool. They say what started as a campy year-end staff event over the decades became a huge party of 5,000 or 6,000 people coming to say goodbye to winter with us on the slopes. So, the pond skimming, they say, reminds the skiers and riders of why they fell in love with winter sports in the first place, because they say it's fun and it's irreverent and it's a must party for every true ski bum to improve the skills that they've practiced all year. If you've ridden enough powder, they say it won't be a problem to skim the pond. And there's nothing more healing for the body than a cold plunge. So there you go. And now you know, right? From skiing, though, to skateboarding, because I have this story about a skate park that I thought was really interesting based on clouds and waves. This is a skate park built in China. Clouds and waves inform this rooftop skate park. I'm kind of freaking out when you zoom out because it looks really cool up close. But then when you zoom out and you look at where this thing is on the roof of a building, I'm thinking, are those fences tall enough to keep people that maybe have a spectacular fall from flipping over the side of the building? Thinking like a true mom, right? This is on top of a mall. It's called the Wanda Plaza Mall. And it's a 1,500 square meter rooftop skate park, providing a space for skateboarders and spectators overlooking both the city and the sea. The designers of the skate park drew on the close relationship to the sky and the sea to use these blue finishes and wave-like shapes of the skate park. And then you also have access to the mall down below. They say we've successfully and cleverly merged business with skateboarding culture, creating an ocean on the rooftop of the Wanda Plaza, establishing a fresh social platform for skateboarders. This dual activation, both in terms of spatial design and movement, energizes the entire terrace. So they have these interesting patterns, blue patterns and wave clouds that you can apparently skate up inside the clouds. They say that also the integration of the skate park features and routes move along with the seamless flow of commercial traffic and allow these two elements to coexist in harmony, blending without disrupting. So it looks like there's a street that runs directly under the mall. You can see traffic going in one side and coming out the other. I don't know about this. I'm not sure if those fences are enough. There's curving patterns in different tones of blue. It's solvent-free polyurethane coating meant to provide resilience against the coastal climate in this area. And there's a flowing curve that is supposed to mirror the graceful movement of waves and beams of light. On one side of the plaza, you have these smooth white spherical forms mirroring clouds in the sky. They call it a minimalist contrast that provides a resting place for both the skaters and the visitors as well. So I guess inside the clouds, you can go hang out for a while. It's interesting. It's cool looking. I kind of like it, but I'm just kind of scared of it. We'll go back to the close-up. Yeah. I don't know. All right. I have another story for you. And this one is for the folks that maybe have a little trouble sleeping. It's hard to get to sleep sometimes. And so a development is now possible that will maybe help you find and take a nap, get a little shut eye. It's called a nap robe. Apparently, you put it on and you feel tired really fast. Do we all need a nap robe? It's from a Japanese studio. The nap robe uses embedded sound and light to promote sleep, and it's all based on the biometric data of whoever it is that has the nap robe on. You can see they're testing out the nap robe on the inflatable chairs. Mm. It's called a sleep apparel system, this nap robe. They showed it off at Milan Design Week, and it's developed as part of a project meant to improve sleeping habits, specifically in Japan, but why not everywhere? The surveys, though, have shown that the population of Japan gets the least sleep out of any country in the world. They are poor sleepers in Japan. So, the nap robe is trying to fight this by encouraging people taking power naps, which is, they say, a practice that can help improve your alertness, your mood, and performance in people who just aren't getting enough sleep late at night or overnight. So the nap robe uses real-time biometric data gathered using devices like a smart ring to monitor your sleep patterns, your stress levels, your heart rate to determine whether you've got an optimal sleeping environment going on. The designer says that, hey, in today's hyper-connected society, we're always online. The time we spend truly offline, both mentally and physically, is shrinking. So they've got this new approach: disconnect in order to recover. Their data-driven approach, interestingly enough, helps individuals return naturally to health. So, this nap robe has technology that helps you fall asleep at the appropriate time, including built-in headphones with noise cancellation. They play a calming music with sleep-inducing frequencies that are tailored to your stress level in real time. It also, you can see here on the top of the robe hood, it has a lighting that produces a soft red glow that's intended to mimic sunset hues and create a soothing effect. So between the calming music and the glow of the sunset light, close your eyes. They say when it's time to wake up, a soft blue light and more lively music pumps through the headphones and helps you rise. It's based on a Japanese garment called a yogi, which is shaped like a large kimono and is usually worn while sleeping. There's a reason they did that. They incorporated this traditional design. They say it can be used on the move. The garment is lightweight. It has lightweight insulation and draw cords for easy adjustment, and a detachable hood with an internal air pack that supports your neck as well. The headpiece, the cuffs, the hems, other features can be customized to suit your environment, the temperature, and your sleeping preference as well. It's all part of a pilot program that was established by Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry to showcase practical real-world applications for personal health. So there you go. Maybe we all need a little nap robe. I like it. I think a lot of people could use a nap robe. I mean, imagine you put the headphones on, you're transported into this calming world with the light, and you're warm. I'm getting tired just looking at that thing. I'm telling you. Even if you have to wear this nap head hood, still, I don't know, would it be, I kind of like to be free when I sleep. It's funny, I'm the person that always sticks a foot out of the covers because I need to feel like I'm not so encumbered. I might feel a little too swaddled in this. I need to have freedom. I don't know. What are you guys looking at in the chat? Yvonne says her dad takes 3-hour naps, no accoutrements needed. You're warm and fuzzy, says Santy. Why does she look pissed? Maybe she's tired. Maybe that's her tired face. I don't know. Not something you'd wear, right, Sandy, if you're visiting the Arctic, or it looks like something you'd wear if you're visiting the Arctic tundra. Yeah, it's a little too much. Japan is so far ahead of us, writes Phineas. Yeah. Just snuggle with my dog and cats, instant nap, and there you have it. Maybe Sandy needs the nap robe. I don't know. I'm gonna have a career in sleep meditation recordings. I think I could do that, right? Talk you down. You've had a rough day. We're calming. We're breathing. I could make it happen. Yeah. Why not? Is there a temperature control? I think they tailor it to the environment in which you live. So if you sleep in an environment that's warmer, maybe they cool it off a little bit. Yeah, it said they could do different temperature controls based on the environment of the person who's wearing it. So I don't know. Yeah. I'm so let's keep the chat to things that are pleasant. I'd like that to happen. Gordon says, cat sleeping on my lap does make me sleepy. Nice. Sounds like an expensive gimmick, says teacher Lori. Perhaps it is. All right. From the nap robe to Travel Tuesday. Today, we will be heading to Massachusetts. As a matter of fact, we're headed to Plymouth, Massachusetts, and there's some beautiful pictures that I have, and some fun things too, some surprises as to what's going on in Plymouth. Some things I hadn't seen before, so we'll learn about it together. But this is the thing that really piqued my interest is the 4th of July at a place like Plymouth, Massachusetts. It's called it calls itself, it considers itself America's hometown. So they say you won't find a better spot for the July 4th fireworks and special events. There are beaches, bonfires on the beach in Menomet. So you can head there first and enjoy the typical 4th of July parade. And then there are fireworks over Plymouth Harbor on the 4th of July. So beautiful. And it's nice. About 82 degrees. Lows, the highs 61 degrees. So June, July, and August, there's a little humidity, but great place if you're planning ahead and you're thinking what to do for 4th of July. Apparently, Plymouth, Massachusetts is the place. A lot of people instead go to Cape Cod for the summer, but the idyllic summer escape happens in Plymouth, Massachusetts as well. Pretty good. They have greenery and places to walk, all kinds of things going on. So I loved that picture. But here's another shot of the beach. This is Plymouth, Massachusetts. You're looking at right there. I mean, that says summer to me. It's a great summer vacation. But that's not all that's going on. Look at this. They have one of the fun things to do here is to learn more about the Mayflower and the history of our country. This is the Plymouth Patuxent Living History Museum, where you can learn all about the town of Plymouth, and the history is brought to life in live action with this Living History Museum tour. Takes you back in time with stories that are read by these actors that are role playing to share what life was like for them back then, for the Pilgrims and the Pokanoket people. You get to walk through an English Pilgrim settlement. You get a trip aboard the Mayflower 2. And you can go to the Plentiful Cafe where you can have a meal, a pilgrim meal. So I think that's pretty fun. Something else to do, and this one fascinates me. You can take a Plymouth ghost tour. They say it's another fun way to learn about the 400 years of history here. The tour, the ghost tour, includes a haunted cemetery, historic houses, and the spooky streets of downtown Plymouth. It's about a 1.5 mile walk, but if you want to get your steps in and you want to learn about the history of Plymouth, super fun. You got to take the ghost tour. Much like here, whale watching is on the list of the best things to do in Plymouth. There are the Plymouth cruises that you can go, the Plymouth Cruises Lobster Tails. They offer you an easy way to enjoy the waterfront by boat. You can do a whale watching excursion. You can just take a sunset cruise. They have group cruises, private charter cruises. So it'll be fun. A lot of people say there's a at certain times of the year, the ability to see humpbacks off the coast of Plymouth, Massachusetts as well. And if you are so inclined, having a lobster roll is on the list of things to do. There are many seafood restaurants, Tavern on the Wharf, Salt Restaurant, popular options. A lot of them overlook the harbor you can see in the background or the ocean. They say when you're in New England and along the coast, a delicious lobster roll is definitely on the to-do list. There's also the Plymouth Bay Winery, the Mayflower Brewing Company, the Dirty Water Distillery, which is a micro distillery where you can go enjoy seltzers and spirits and liquors and canned cocktails. There's the Plymouth Antiquarian Society, where you can go look at the historical significance of the items they have there. They host pilgrim breakfasts, women's suffrage tea toasts, and burial hill tours as well. And then, why don't you check this place out while you're learning about history? This is called the Jabez Howland House. It's this old house where you can take a guided tour. This Jabez Howland House is said to be the only existing house currently standing in Plymouth that actually housed pilgrims. It has been transformed into a museum where you can take in the history and check out all the artifacts, like letters and documents and furniture and tools they used way back when, household items. They have all been preserved here. So that's pretty cool. Again, this house, the only existing house currently standing in Plymouth, Massachusetts, that housed pilgrims as well. So that's kind of cool. There is also, what else do I have for you? The Plymouth Rock. Now, it's said to maybe not be as impressive when you get there. It's like, meh, okay. The historic Plymouth Rock, said to be where people first stepped onto the shore, right? The first placement of a foot of someone, a colonist coming to America. It's recognized as being the place where the first steps of the pilgrims leaving the Mayflower and stepping onto land happened in the 1620s. It's a symbol of the New World, represents the start of the first colonies in, again, America's hometown, is what they call themselves, and it put Plymouth on the map as the location for the first Thanksgiving. But when you go see it, it's really just a rock inside of a cage sitting by the harbor. I mean, it's just a rock. It's apparently it doesn't look as special. You would think like it would be a grand rock with a big flat area or an imprint of a foot. It's just a rock in a cage sitting by the water. That's all right. Right across from it, though, is a National Historic Landmark called Coles Hill. And it is known to be the Mayflower Pilgrims' first cemetery. So there are plaques and statues in the public park in this area. And in the park, there are places to have picnics, which kind of seems a little bit morbid, but, you know, the way it goes at America's hometown. all kinds of fun things to do here. You can go see the Burial Hill Cemetery, which, if you like the morbid, uh, it's an historical site, the burial grounds of some of the earliest pilgrims, including some of those from the Mayflower. You can tour the graveyard and take in the history of lives long since past. There are stone tombstones with centuries old inscriptions as well. And since we're in Plymouth, we might as well go see the cranberry bogs, right? I mean, how often do you get to see these? These are shallow areas of water where cranberries grow on vines that are then shaken, and the cranberries are then released into the water or the bog below. The harvests are done seasonally, but really beautiful. And it gives people a way to enjoy what's called the unique harvests of Massachusetts. You can take a special cranberry bog tour. You can interact with the farmers here. You can check out the new harvest on your visit. So that's kind of cool. There's another thing. It's called the Bridgewater Triangle. This is another creepy thing to do in Plymouth. It's not so much one location, but a visit to this triangulated location with a history of strange, unusual, or paranormal activities across this area. Crime stories, ghost sightings, alien and UFO sightings, people going missing, strange sensations, and more noted to have occurred across this area. Again, it's called the Bridgewater Triangle in southeastern Massachusetts. It's something else you could do while you're in Plymouth, if you dare. There are theme parks, fun family spots. The Water Whiz Park of Cape Cod, if you're looking for a cool down. The Edaville Theme Park, 30 minutes from Plymouth. So it looks like there's a lot to do here. Duxbury Beach, miles of beach. It looks like a pretty wide swath of sand. So there's something for everyone. You could take a ferry ride to Provincetown. There's glass blowing. I mean, more than just the rock, I think, in Plymouth, Massachusetts. So we'll take it. Again, we'll go through it. There's the beaches and the Plymouth Patuxent Living History Museum and the creepy ghost tours and the whale watching and the seafood and the last standing home that housed pilgrims. Got to do it. Plymouth Rock, as unimpressive as it may be, and the cranberry bogs. And then go ahead and add in 4th of July at America's hometown. It's looking pretty good. And that, my friends, is Travel Tuesday. Hopefully, like me, you learned something about Plymouth, Massachusetts that you didn't know. And if given the opportunity to go there, I think I definitely would. Yeah, love that. All right, going back to the chat, really want to thank Cindy for popping in with $10 today. Love your science stories, she writes. Thanks for keeping me sane for a 5-month recovery. We'll be back to watch on replay. Cindy, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you're enjoying the show, as quirky and odd as it is. I do think that it is a release from some of the harder stories of the day. That are important that we not look away from, that are important that we know, but it's also important to preserve our sanity. And sometimes just talking about other stuff, I think, is healthy and really does that. I also want to thank the folks that have come through on PayPal. So in addition to Cindy popping in with $10, most recent contributions from Wes, who throws down $5 today. Really, really appreciate it. An Earth Day $5 contribution from Wes Theory. A recurring payment from Alicia P. Another one from Wes yesterday for $5. Recurring from Amy P. A recurring from Meredith D. You can set up your PayPal to just do a monthly recurring thing. So just thank you guys so much for helping keep this show going and allowing me to be able to afford to do this and to get all the software and everything else that is required to do this show. So big thank you. I do hope that you'll make it a great rest of your Tuesday tomorrow At 11 a.m., the Mark Thompson Show starts. John Rothman will be on the show. Belinda Weymouth, the eco-journalist, will be on the show. And then tomorrow we'll check out some waterfalls and cool ourselves down here on the After Party Live. But until we meet again, I hope you make it the best day possible. And I will see you back here on YouTube tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
You need a nap robe, Nola Fitty. If you know the name of the troll, put it in the chat. I'll go back and check it out. Thanks, Sandy.